Hello traders, today is Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. I'm going to start the video with AMD. Keep in mind, this is not financial advice. This content is for educational purposes only. Please make sure to do your own due diligence before you risk your money in any type of investments. Well, let's take a look at what is going on with AMD. It was pretty much a flat day, pretty similar to Friday, in my opinion, 0.68%. I think Friday was 0.75%. Let's confirm that. Actually, never mind. Friday was 2.55%. But today you were 0.65, 68%. I think, as I said yesterday or in my last video, we still have to get out of the weeds on this name. I do think that there's still a lot more volume and momentum that has to come. However, MACD and TSI are not looking great or not looking bad. The histogram is not telling you much. Volume also is not telling you much, as I just mentioned. RSI is pointing up, but as well, it's moving slow. This name needs, I guess, more enthusiasm and more momentum coming in. Is it going to come this week? I'm not sure. What I can tell you is that at least we still over this level of support at 120, which in my opinion is critical, or let's call it 121. I think this is critical. However, it's still in a very precarious way. I think that 112 is still on the table, and I would be a little more, I guess, positive on how I'm seeing this chart once we mount, or if we mount, that 35 SMA. That's what I have for AMD. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin, and let me take a quick note right here. Bitcoin, as I mentioned yesterday, is not looking bad at all. One of the things that I am, I guess, playing or thinking about is that once Trump or the government starts mentioning Bitcoin and what they're going to do with crypto and how they're going to handle this whole sector, I think that Bitcoin is going to start rallying, unless they say something that contradicts what Trump was promising during the campaign. Now, I think that Trump wants to keep as many promises as possible, but we also understand that there is a chance that he could, backpedal or stall in some decisions. And if that is the case, that would bring, that would be very negative for Bitcoin. One of a testament of that, I guess, is what the reaction that we saw yesterday when Trump didn't mention Bitcoin at all in any of his speeches. So the market didn't like that. That being said, today we went back up to 107, I believe, 108, 107 or 108, I think. Now, it's not a bad day for Bitcoin. We're up 4.22%. I think if this momentum continues, we're going to break all-time highs, which is this area right here, 109, almost 110. And then we're going to continue towards 120. My price target was 120 by March. We might actually get there before then, considering that yesterday we were at 110. But we'll see. We'll see. I think, again, if Trump really pushes or mentions Bitcoin and give us a little bit of a, I guess, roadmap on how the government is going to handle this sector, I think we're going to move to the upside. MACD and TSI are looking much better than what they did a couple of candles ago, a couple of days ago. So these are looking good. Volume is okay, and I think that this area is very favorable for the upside. So we just have to wait for more momentum. There is low liquidity here, so we can actually start moving very nicely to the upside. All of these proxies are probably going to benefit. I think there is a lot of opportunity here, but it's definitely dependent on what happened with Bitcoin. Mara is one of those things, one of those names, and you have to keep an eye. MicroStrategy for sure. Riot, I would as well. Coinbase, yes, but the contracts for option traders, the contracts are more expensive. But I think that Mara, Riot are very good options. Maybe let's take a look at Riot really quick and see how this is not looking bad at all. I've been liking Riot since we were somewhere in this area right here, so this is not bad. Anyways, Bitcoin still has much more room to continue going up. Now let's move on and take a look at a name that I mentioned yesterday, and I've been mentioning Clover Health quite often, to be honest, lately. Well, yeah, quite often, I would say. One of the things that I said yesterday, and I continue saying the same, is, and I was covering Clover a few days back, but in reality, I've been talking about Clover since the end of July, and I've been looking into Clover since May, actually, of last year. But focusing on where we are right now, well, we are back at resistance at 430. Is it 430? Yes, at 430. We did close today at 4.24. Almost a 4% day, is down after hours, almost one entire point, 1%. But that being said, I love the fact that this has been moving in such a steady manner to the upside. And, and again, with a lot of news going on, with a lot of people really talking about it, it's kind of hard to find videos that talk about Clover, or then, in this case, that analyze a chart for Clover. But I think this is not looking bad at all, Now, it's looking a little bit extended on the TSI and the RSI. The MACD is not looking that extended, to be honest. So it might have a little bit more, especially if we break resistance at 430, which is this level right here. If you break resistance, then you're going to have low liquidity coming into 481. That's interesting. But don't be surprised just by what you're seeing here after hours. Normally, there's not a lot of volume or not even trading after hours for Clover. But in this case, you're down almost 1%. Don't be surprised if tomorrow you see a pullback that is going to bring the RSI down under 70, maybe. And we might actually go down towards 391 and maybe retest. Consolidation would be fantastic. And then next move will come. But your levels right now is 430 as resistance and 391 as support. Now let's move on and take a look at CRM. CRM is in my short list, to be honest. I love how this is looking. I mean, I don't love this candle, but I think this is gonna continue moving to the upside. I love how it looks on the MACD and the TSI. The RSI is already pointing up. The TSI is moving a little bit slower than the MACD, which is fine. Volume, it's all right. And but I just like the fact that this is moving. Another name that I think has a similar similar setup was, we had I think it's Oracle, but Oracle went up today. I did trade Oracle, but there were quite a few names that had the same setup right here. I think Snowflake was one of them as well. And but anyways, this is looking very, very nice. And by the way, go to yesterday's video, and I spoke about HD, Home Depot. It went up very nicely. Then I spoke about Netflix. Well, today, after earnings, it's doing fantastic. Earnings is coming next, I believe, on this list. And then SPY, and then on Friday, I mentioned some other names that are doing very well, including Triple M, for example, or HIMS and whatnot. So go check those videos. I do believe it's worth it. But again, let's go back to CRM. I think this is looking great. I might actually get into this by tomorrow. I did get some Tesla options today. Oracle, I got into Oracle today as well. I got back into Costco, and that's all. That's all I have right now. Well, I have Amazon, and I started trimming Apple. I think Apple is a complete disaster as we are seeing it right now. But CRM, there is opportunity here, in my opinion. It's looking very nice. Now let's move on to HIMS. I did day trade HIMS today. I did have a call option that I bought on Friday. I did sell that position today, and then I did some day trading on HIMS. I made a post on X saying I'm pulling the trigger past 29.7, which I think I will. Look at this at the MACD and the TSI. I didn't buy at the end of the trading hour because I went to the bank and I was doing some other things. I'm planning to buy a property and whatnot, and so I was busy doing that. And by the time I came back, it was like 12:57 or something, so I couldn't actually set up a position. But I think I'm gonna jump in tomorrow, and with 30 calls as a strike and probably go back to May or July. I think I couldn't find June options. I don't know. Anyways, HIMS is looking great. I think is a good opportunity at this point. You're breaking this level that actually was a little bit hard to break, and you're breaking it with more momentum than what you did here. You had, in this case, you had buyers coming in the beginning of the day back on December 26th, and then sellers took control, and then you came down. You had this double bottom right here, and now you're breaking the neckline as well on this candle. So if you want to consider this a double bottom, and now you are over 29.7, which in my opinion was a critical level of resistance. This is looking very interesting, and I think, again, as I said, I'm going to get into Apple today. No, Apple, I'm sorry, HIMS. Okay, let's take a look at Meta and look at this. So I was looking at Meta early in the morning, and I did put this pattern on. Now I do think, let's go to the weekly and see how that looks. The weekly is looking good, to be honest. This is completely neutral. Yes, it is over the zero line, but we're also looking at a weekly chart, and RSI is also flat. This is not looking bad at all. We might actually see a nice move to the upside coming pretty soon. I think that Meta is probably going to hit all-time highs, not that far from now, but we just need to see a nice move to the upside. Today it was pretty much flat, 0.60%. It's almost 1% up after hours. So we are post-market. We are right here with this yellow dotted line blue dotted line. It's not looking bad. I like Meta. I think there's opportunity. And again, as I said before in other videos, when Meta moves, it actually moves, just like Netflix does. Now, talking about Netflix, let's pay a visit to Netflix and see what actually what we are seeing on the market. So Netflix is looking, of course, outstanding. I mentioned Netflix yesterday, and look at this. This is a 5-minute chart. Let's go to the 4-hour, and then we get more color. Look at this. Do you know what is crazy? I was actually going to buy calls today, and for some reason I just didn't. I think it's because I was trading Oracle, and I was getting into Oracle, and then I got I did get Costco as well. But anyways, this is looking great. And after I saw the earnings report, I was like, God damn, why didn't I buy? But this is looking fantastic. Look where you are. So the price right now is 900. Wow, this is incredible. Almost $1,000 a share. That is beautiful. So there's where Netflix is. I think too bad I didn't buy contracts, but I will be very happy tomorrow if I did. Don't be surprised if this earnings session is going to bring us some surprise. I think that Amazon, for example, is going to do pretty well. Microsoft is probably going to do well. Meta as well. Not too sure about Apple, to be honest. I don't think that Apple is going to impress anybody. Tesla, I'm not sure about Tesla. AMD, Nvidia, we'll see. But this is a good start, I think. Netflix doing fantastic. We're going to have a gap tomorrow as we open, and we'll see how the price action reacts to that. However, we had a gap on this move as well. And what happened after is that you got into a consolidation, and then you ripped to the upside again. This is quite interesting. I really like what I'm seeing on Netflix. It looks pretty solid. It was solid before, right on this area. When you were rebounding on support, that was telling you everything right there. Beautiful, beautiful move. Anyways, let's move on to, let's talk about NQ. And this is moving very nicely. I'm not going to lie. Look at this. I mentioned this yesterday, I believe, or the day before. Was it yesterday or Saturday? It was yesterday that I spoke about NQ or Nasdaq. And look at this. This is looking great. Now you're mounting the 325, the 35 SMA very nicely. You are into a low liquidity area. Don't be surprised, and I said this before, if we continue having a mini rally between now and maybe the end of the month. We'll see. I'm still trying to trade, almost analyzing the market on the day-by-day basis, yet all my contracts are expiring at the earliest in July. I have puts on football for February puts, but it's a small position. Anyways, this is looking very good. MACD and TSI now are looking great. The MACD is already crossing the signal line. The TSI is on its way. RSI is looking very good as well. So, and again, you're getting into a low liquidity area. We'll see how we behave, but I think this is going to move. SPY and QQQ were actually breaking trends as well. So, and they are approximating levels of key, or they're approximating key levels. So we'll see how everything else plays out. But NQ is looking very good. Now let's take a look at one of the positions that I got in today, and I think I'm gonna sell sometime this week. Yet I got Oracle, and let's talk about Oracle. So I got some calls for Oracle. They expire in July 18th. Is it? No, July 25, I think. July, I don't know. February. Yeah, July 18th. Yeah, and look at this move right here. It continues to go up 1.75% after hours. And this comes after news that something related with AI and Oracle was going to benefit out of this. It's not a contract yet, but I just saw some news. But one of the things, the reason why I end up trading Oracle, it wasn't because of the contracts, interestingly enough. I mean, this move is fantastic, but what I was looking at was at this formation right here. So we had the same very similar move on CRM, as I mentioned earlier. Snowflake, I believe, has something very similar as well, and even though Snowflake is above a massive price gap, and that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. But I do think that what I was looking here, I'm sorry, is how we were behaving on this area, close to the 200 SMA, right on this area of price gap, and then buyers to control right here. So I decided to buy calls today. Now I started my position, basically buying one call at the time. And by the time the news came out, I already had a position, and then I got a few more calls I think in this candle right here. So this is playing out very, very nicely. I was trying to anticipate a move into breaking into resistance right here, and this actually played out. I mean, definitely a touch of lag, but this actually played out very nicely for me, and it's continued. So I'm probably going to sell either tomorrow or the following day. I think this still has a little more of a move to the upside, but yeah, this is looking good. Yet just keep in mind, when the market opens tomorrow, if I see any sign of weakness on this name or even pre-market, I will probably sell my entire position. And if this actually continues ripping to the upside, I will be completely fine with my decision. So that's how I trade, and that's how I protect my capital. And that's why not why, but I like to walk away with money in my pocket rather than waiting for a green to turn into a red. I don't think this is going to be the case. I think this has more momentum. I love the fact that we're breaking here on the MACD and the TSI. We're crossing signal lines, and we haven't done that since basically under the zero line since August of last year. And in this case, we were even below that area. So I think this move is going to continue in a very nice manner. But again, if I see any weakness, I just take my money and move on into something else. Now let's take a look at QQQ. Not too bad. Where is that? Here, Reddit. And I also did buy some Reddit today, and I sold today. So I day trade Reddit. I bought it right here by the 200 SMA, and I sold somewhere over here in this candle, I believe. Now this actually continued moving to the upside. Today Reddit was 7.4%. But I mentioned this before. I mentioned this on yesterday's video, and that's why. No, actually, I mentioned this on the 18th, which was Saturday. So I mentioned Reddit on Saturday because of the setup that we were seeing, and I encourage you to go back to that video and see what I was talking about. We are breaking this level of resistance, 180, 181, and I think this is going to continue. Now, one thing that I would prefer having is the MACD and the TSI crossing the signal lines under the zero line, but this is not the case. This might have a few more days of continuation, or maybe a retest, which would be great, of support, and then continue going up. But after hours is almost 1%, is 0.74%. That's very good. Don't be surprised if this actually continues to move up. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if there is any similarities here, but this name is too new. But this looks fantastic. This looks just like GEV. It looks like Robinhood. It looks like Rocket Lab. We're talking about Rocket Lab next. This looks like GEV. So those setups worked out very, very nicely. And there are some others that are similar that is still on the works. Anyways, Reddit, I think, has more juice to continue going to the upside. I took advantage of a quick move. I made money. If I see tomorrow that we are coming down, or some similarities like what we are seeing here, having a little bit of red and bouncing on some key indicators, I would probably jump into Reddit. Today was actually a pretty decent trading day, even though, to be honest, I was trimming my Apple position, so I started the day very red, and then with my Reddit trade and what else? On my HIMS trade, I actually made up the money that I lost today. So I'm pretty content with how things turned out today. Now let's talk about Rocket Lab, and very similar to Reddit, right? And that's why I also mentioned Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab was on yesterday's video, and that's why I mentioned Rocket Lab. Is because we had this consolidation here coming from uptrend, right? So that trend is moving up. That is a good thing. Then you have key indicators right here. You're mounting the key indicator as soon as, let's go to the 5 minute, right off the gate, you start moving, and you were up 31% at one point, actually like 34% at one point. It closed at 30%. This is insane. I think these names have more room to continue going up. Now that we're talking about Rocket Lab, maybe ASTS might benefit a little bit of what the administration is announcing as far as what projects they have. But focusing on Rocket Lab, we broke resistance with a lot of momentum. I do look at the MACD and the TSI. This is looking much better than what I can ask for. It would be fantastic if tomorrow we come back towards support and then rally back up. But as of what we are seeing right now, this looks fantastic. Unfortunately, I couldn't take advantage of this move because I was really hoping to maintain this level right here. And I did post this on X, this level of support, maybe bounce and then continue going up. I took advantage of a tiny move up here on these 3 candles, and I think on this area right here, but this was what we were all waiting for. Fantastic move. This was great, 30%. So if you were watching the video yesterday and you thought maybe, or if any of you took advantage of, in my opinion, a very obvious setup, well, I'm very happy. Then let's move on to the next video, and I'm sorry, next name, and that is Tesla. What did I do with Tesla today? I did buy some calls like a minute before closing, and that's another reason why I also couldn't buy calls for HIMS. But one of the things that I like about Tesla right now is that we are closing today above 415, and I think it's bullish above 415. Look at where the candle is landing right here. You are right on the 35 SMA. I did day trade Tesla this morning as we were breaking this level right here, but I got out somewhere on this area right here. I saw a little bit of weakness. I already, my position was in good shape, and I got out right here. But then when I came back home from the bank, I saw how nicely this moved, and I was like, well, surprise, surprise. I always do that. But again, I like to work away with money, and so I don't lose any sleep when I leave money on the table. I think it's completely fine to leave money on the table as long as you don't lose your money. That's all that matters. MACD and TSI are not bad. They are above the zero line, which is fine. And we'll see how we behave tomorrow. It is green after hours, which means absolutely nothing in my opinion, especially when it's like this little. But I think that Tesla has a very good setup to continue going up. So we'll see how this goes. You know, I think we can go all the way up to new all-time highs. 500 could be a price target. Now you have earnings coming next Wednesday, correct? Yes, next Wednesday. Because today is the 21st. Yeah, and we'll see how that goes. I will probably sell my position before earnings because Tesla is always, you know, a tough name to trade, especially if you are trying to, you know, especially before or after earnings. You know, that the moves are very extreme. You know, like normally I think Tesla after earnings moves between 8 and 12% every time to the upside or the downside. So I'm not willing to risk that. But in the next few days, I think we can definitely move towards 440. Right now we are at 424. That's how we close today. Well, friends, this is all I have for you today. I will have another video coming up tomorrow. Please subscribe and like the videos. Other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.